I've put all the worms back in this one. But as you can see, it's full of worms and there's a bit of castings and there's bedding. And I've actually put some food in there the other day. I'll put that back over there. Now that's going to be, I'll end up putting that on the top. And this one's going to go underneath it. And I'll fill that full of bedding. And I'll use shredded paper, moistened in water. Not dripping wet, but not dry, just nice and moist. Some torn up cardboard, if you want. Dry dead leaves, horse manure, a little bit of grass, mowed, old grass mowed, but not too much grass, it makes too much heat. Bit of bark, chip. Sometimes I've used bark chip, it takes longer for them to eat it, but eventually they do. And once again, when you're sifting, you just put anything that's left in the sifter, you put back in the bedding. So I'll fill that with all new bedding, and I'll put that on the bottom, and I'll leave this one on the top. Probably put a bit more bedding in that too, and then I'll make them some food. I'm making up a new lot of bedding here. So we've got shredded paper here. I had a shredder and I used to shred up the old phone books. They love that. But my shredder packed up. So there's a business in town. I've got 6 of these off, and I'll give the address to the lady that's buying the wormies so she can get it off him too. So I just grabbed some, I've got filtered rainwater here. You could probably just, when you're about to do your worms, sit some water for 24 hours, both for your tea and for your worms, so they don't get all that yucky chlorine. So I just wet it. Not too wet if you can help it. Put it in there. And here I've got horse poo and leaves I've collected from around the yard. That's all that is, a little bit of grass. So that's all that is. And we got a nice bit of horse poo there. And I'm going to mix all this through. I'll get a water spray bottle and moisten that paper if I have to. I'll mix that all up. And that's the new bedding. You can go online to find out what else you can put in your bedding. So once that's done, that's going to go on the bottom, and the one down there that all the worms are in, I'll put that on the top, and then I'll feed them. There's the bedding all made up. The new lot of bedding. Okay, so we're going to take that one off. It's the old lot of bedding. We will have to clean that out eventually. I'll water that, I'll dilute that and put that on plants. Okay, so put the new bedding down. And then put that one on top. And we'll put the lid back on. And they're ready. They'll be right there for another 6 weeks. I could beef that top bedding up if I want to with a bit more grass and paper and leaves and stuff, but I'm not going to right now. So that's it for now until I feed them. So I've got some chopped lettuce scraps here. Chopped banana peels. Bit of chopped mango peel. They don't like those stickers, by the way. They always leave them. They're probably poisonous. And put that all in there. Put that all in the food processor. And I've actually got a little bit of coffee grounds and a bit of bran here I'm going to put in. Never given them bran, but I don't think it'll kill them. They'll just about eat anything. So there's some bit of coffee grounds and bran rather than throw it out. Just wash my hand. Okay. And what I also do is put a little bit of rainwater in it so it'll mix up okay. Looks good. Looks like good worm food to me. So I topped that bedding up. So as you can see, it's pretty full now. And what I'll do is just, a lot of people, you can put your scraps in whole if you want, but it takes a long time to decompose and for the worms to eat it. So I'll just put that in there on the top, in there. Put some at the other end too. Probably do that in a minute. It's not too wet, so if the juice that comes out, that's what ends up in the bottom of the container. So sometimes I pull some of the bedding back, so otherwise the soldier flies like to come and eat all the food. So I'll put that food there, cover it with a bit of bedding. It's a bit hard doing this one-handed, so I usually do it a bit better than this. I cover that food up. And they say, as I said, feed them their body's weight. A little beetle there, you can squash him, he can be food, worm food. And that's it. And they eat their body's weight in a week, so I'll check that in a week, and I'll just do that food process again with maybe something a bit different. And you do that until basically your bottom tray will be reduced to castings, the middle tray, bottom tray, and then I swap them around. This time, yeah, like I just did. I'll when that bottom tray is castings, I'll harvest the castings and make a new bedding for the top, like I did before. And it's a bug that can be worm food. Okay, so that's it. They're all ready to go down under the tree for another week. Make sure I put the feed on, fill them with water so the ants can't get in there. And that's it. Now we have to get on to making some worm tea with these castings. A bit of that paper blue in there, but that won't matter.